You guys want to see my tackle? It's not enough. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in today's video. I'm actually going to go over all my tackle, so it's going to take a while. Stick around. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to show you guys everything that I've been using for like the last 3 or 4 years now. So it's accumulated a lot of stuff, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into it. So I'd like to start out with all my bait casting reels and then work my way into spinning and eventually all my tackle. So I'm going to try to leave times, like little times down below, so you guys can skip to whatever you guys want to see. If you don't want to see everything, I'll just try to leave a little time note down there for you guys to do that. Without further ado, let's get into my bait casting rods and reels. So up first is my Shimano Scorpion DC. I bought this a while ago, probably about 3 years ago. I've been using it a lot ever since. It's been through a lot. It's always been working. It hasn't had any problems. It's been very, very reliable. And this is actually, I believe this is around $270. I know it's a little bit up there for some of you guys, but it does work. It holds up over time. And paired with this, I actually have a West Marine 6'6". It's just a basic casting rod, 6'6", medium heavy. I found it in the garage. I didn't have an extra rod, so this is what I put it on for now. I actually have 15-pound fluorocarbon and a wacky rig, because you can't go wrong with a wacky rig in Florida. So that would be combo number one. I would say what I like about this most is the sound. It makes the really high pitched DC sound. And that's one of my favorite things about any kind of reel, any kind of Shimano reel, is that sound. So I would definitely recommend checking this guy out. And like I said, this is the Shimano Scorpion DC. All right, guys, so next up is my favorite combo out of all the rods and reels I've ever had. This is by far my favorite combo. This is the Shimano Antares DC MD XG. I know it's a mouthful, but it lives up to the hype that it's always had. It is a great reel. It is way out of price range for a lot of people, but I just couldn't pass it up. I really couldn't. I found it on eBay and I was like, do I need this? I was like, yes, I need this. So that's what I bought a while ago. And it is like the greatest. It is the coolest. I don't know if you guys like can take in how pretty this thing is. It is amazing looking. It's like a gunmetal, gray, black almost. And then paired with that, I have the favorite Big Sexy 7-foot heavy, which is also another great rod. It's just really a thick rod. It just gets the job done. So like I said, this is about $540. I know, it's crazy. I get it. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it is a lot of fun to use. And the favorite Big Sexy is about $200, give or take, I believe. So all in all, it's probably my most expensive, which might be why I like it so much. I don't know, maybe just a hint. And what I use this for really is just for jigs, topwaters, frogs, anything where I need to kind of whack them, get them through the gook, the lily pads, all the just thick vegetation that we have in Florida. So this is what I like to use for that. And I think that's all of my bait casting rods and reels. So let's just skip on over to my spinning rods and reels. Good grief. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more to go. All right, so it only made sense to start out with the lightest spinning rod and reel combos that I own. So the first one I grabbed, this is my 7-foot medium light Stellar Lite made by Star Rods. This rod, I believe it retails for about $99.99. It might be $110, I don't know, I'm not sure. You guys can look it up if you're really interested. But it is by far the best inshore, even for bass. It is amazing. It is so light. When I say stellar light, like it is ridiculously light. And paired with that, I have the Daiwa Legalis 1000 LT. So Legalis LT, light and tough, that's what LT means. So between the two of these, it is like a fairy wand. I kid you not, like a fairy could fly through the sky and just like zap people with this thing. It is so light. And I usually use it for light snook fishing. It makes it a lot of fun. Light bass fishing. If I'm throwing like little MEPS spinners, inline spinners, crappie jigs, anything like that, this is the rod that I'm gonna choose. It just whips little lures so far. And I believe this is 8-pound braid. I could be wrong. It's either 8 or 10. I'm almost positive that it's 8. And this is the PowerPro yellow high vis 8-pound braid. And yeah, I mean, it's a great combo. I like it a lot. I use it a lot more than you'd think. This is a little combo, but I use it a lot. So that is this one. And let's start bumping up the size a little bit. Okay, so next up, I'm not gonna lie, I have a problem with these reels. I have 3 of them, and I know it sounds crazy, but they are the best budget reel in my opinion for saltwater, freshwater, anything you're doing. By far my favorite budget friendly reel. And I believe these are like $100 to $130. This is the Daiwa BG. This is a 2500 size, so it's perfect for everything I do. And I've used this a lot on the beach, a lot. I mean, the size fish that I've caught on just this little reel is ridiculous. I don't know how much drag it has, but it has enough. And with that, I believe this is 10 or 15 pound spider wire, stealth braid, blue camo, and paired with it, I know it sounds crazy, their Star Rod Stellar Lite. This is the 7-foot medium heavy, so it's a little bit heavier. It's still very light to hold. It's not very heavy at all, which is what I like when I'm fishing. You don't want to get tired while you're fishing. You don't want to be like, oh, it's getting so heavy. This thing's not like that. This thing is light as can be. So between the 2 of these, I believe this is about 130. This is maybe 100, like I said. So you're looking at about 200, around $200 combo. And I really can't, I don't have anything bad to say about the rod or the reel. I've had the reel for about, I want to say a year now. Haven't had any problems. It's a little grindy, but it happens when you're fishing in saltwater, so it's expected. And the rod also had for about a year now and works flawlessly. It's still intact, very light. Can't really knock on anything about it. So that is my next biggest combo, and let's bump it up a little bit more. All right, so bumping it up a little bit more, price is gonna go up on this one just a little bit, actually a lot, but it's worth it in my opinion. So now we're getting into what I like to call like the heavier side of rods and reels. It's still not heavy, like not meaning that way. I mean like handling bigger fish. So this is the Daiwa Saltist 3000 LT. It's also very, very light, very, very smooth. And paired with that, I have the Star VPR. This is the 7.6 medium heavy. So it's a little bit longer. I get a little bit further cast off of it. And with the 15-pound spider wire braid that I have on here, little lures like DOA cows fly, but also bigger baits. Like sometimes I use grunts, are a little bit bigger. They're about 5 or 6 inches. So you can fling them pretty far as well. And without a doubt, probably the most used combo I own. It's just the mid-range. It does everything I need it for, and I don't have anything bad about it to say. I actually bought this reel about 2 years ago from eBay. I know I buy a lot of stuff from eBay, but that's where the prices are, I promise. Like, you'll never find better prices. And it's been holding up pretty well. It's very smooth still. I've only had it serviced once, I believe. So that being said, it's a great reel. I believe this retails for about $200, and then the rod is actually about $280. So you're looking at about a $500 combo, but with how much I use it, it is totally worth it to me. I want to have a comfortable, lightweight rod and reel combo that I can use for anything, and this is what this does. It gets it done. It's really all there is to it. I'm sure you guys saw it in the snook pond video where I caught that decent sized snook. That was on this one as well. So, and we are slowly getting up there, guys. I probably have about 4 or 5 more combos, and then I'll go over the tackle. But without further ado, let's get into the next combo. Now, this is where things get a little bit beefier. I'm sure you guys can see by this cork. It's a broomstick. That's the best way to put it. This is an 8-foot EliteTech extra heavy. This is for the snook fishing, big snook, when I'm using ladyfish, if I'm tarpon fishing or shark fishing. This will get it done practically. I actually have bigger combos, but this one is probably the lightest for all that. And it is super duper light. The rod is ridiculously light. You would never guess that it's an 8-foot heavy if you just picked up just the rod. The reel is a different story. It makes it a little bit heavier. This is also, as you guys saw, I know I have a lot of Daiwa BGs, but they work. There's a reason for it. This is the 4000 size, and paired with that, I have 40-pound braid, I believe, just because if you're fishing around docks or bridges at night, you're gonna need a little bit heavier pound braid so it doesn't chafe off on a piling, barnacles, or any of that. So that's what I mainly use this for, is nighttime fishing for snook, tarpon, sharks. I've caught all kinds of stuff on this. With that being said, it is also a great combo. The reel, once again, about $100, and then the rod was $199.99, so $200. And it's held up for me for the last 2 years, the rod at least. The reel I just got about a couple months ago. It's still working, still doing great. So still isn't my biggest combo, my heaviest combo. That wasn't supposed to happen. This actually isn't my biggest combo. You guys will see that one next, so let's hop into that one. Last, and definitely not least, my big boy rod. This is the go-to for any shark fishing, amberjack fishing, grouper fishing, anything where it is just a tug of war between you and the fish. This is the rod and reel that I use. This is a 5,000 size Daiwa BG. Believe this is 65 pound braid. I haven't got any of these spooled in forever, so check with my manager, Edwin. He will tell you. I think this is 65, I'm not sure. But with that, I also have the Daiwa Saltist. This is the 7-foot heavy, and it's been a broomstick like the last one. It's a little bit more light on the end actually, so it can you can kind of jig with it a little bit if you go jigging offshore, vertical jigging, but it gets the job done very, very well. I've caught a lot of big sharks on just the reel on a heavier rod. I've also caught jacks, big jacks in West Palm, grouper, all kinds of crazy stuff with this. So this is the big boy rod. This is when nothing else will handle anything. This is the one that will get it done. And I know I've probably said this quite a few times. The reel is about 130 for this size. The smaller the size, usually it's a little bit cheaper. So this is the 5,000, this was around 130, and then the rod was 150. So it's not too bad of a price for what you can do with this. You can go offshore, you can catch big sharks, grouper, jacks, anything really. It's just the meaty broomstick rod, but gets the job done. And now that we got all the rods and reels out of the way, I am going to get into all of my tackle, my bass fishing tackle, my saltwater tackle, everything that I've been using for the last couple of years. It's accumulated into that giant pile that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video. So I'm going to dissect pretty much every tackle box that I have there, and hopefully you guys can get some ideas from it. Or if you see something that you want to see me use in a video, be sure to drop a comment and say, JC, use this lure. Just whatever you guys want, whatever lure you guys want me to use. Say, yo, JC, try using this lure. I want to see what you can do with it, because I've got some crazy stuff. So I'm just going to start grabbing tackle boxes off the top pretty much, and I'll try to explain best as I can, as quick as I can, what is in the box and basically what brands I have. So let's just start out with first one right here. This is just my daily saltwater box. I keep jig heads, lures, pretty much everything I need just for the day. It's a really thick box, so I can kind of just throw stuff in there if I want to put it in for the day. If I want to take it out, I can do that. It's just got enough room for everything pretty much. Likewise, this is my bass fishing tackle daily box. This is mainly the box that I use for taking just one box fishing, bass fishing that is. I've got pretty much everything I need in here. I've got hard baits, frogs, jigs, chatterbaits, hooks, weights, jig heads, worms, Senkos, pretty much everything you need to go bass fishing in this box. So that's my daily bass box right here. My mouth is getting so dry from talking so fast about so many different lures, rods, reels, all my tackle, but we are almost done. So let's get into the rest of my tackle. Got a saltwater box here. This one's kind of weird. It's got some flare hawks in it, some big jerk baits, big swim baits, some mirror lure, mirrodines, just a bunch of miscellaneous saltwater tackle. Another saltwater box here. This is a topwater box. I've got some giant poppers at the bottom. Got some walking baits, some more walking baits, mostly walking baits. Not gonna lie, it's a lot of walking baits. So if I need one, I just kind of take what I want from this box, put it in my other box, my daily box for saltwater, and that's pretty much it. So another saltwater box, what do you know? So this one, there's a CUDA tube, as you guys can see in the bottom. There is some vertical jigs down here for when I visit Colin and West Palm, and some spoons, some little spoons, some big spoons, depending on what I'm doing. Big spoons for the beach usually, casting really far, catching Spanish mackerel, and then the little spoons for ladyfish when they come close. So that is another saltwater tackle box. I think the rest of these should be bass fishing. So let's see what we got here. So this one's mainly skirted jigs. By skirted jigs, I mean jigs like on the bottom, like bottom jigs, chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, buzzbaits, pretty much all like the skirted stuff I put in the same box. I organize it by color, so you got natural, black and blue, red, all the colors are pretty much organized. So that's my skirted jig box. I pretty much just take and choose what I want from this if I'm going out for the day. So that's what I do. Looks like we got a top water box for bass fishing. This one's kind of crazy. I've got beyond weird stuff in here. I've got ducks, spiders. I've got all kinds. This is Robbie's actually. I don't know what this is doing in here. I've never used this. I'm not Guggen like at all, okay? So I've never used that. There's some walking baits right here, some poppers, lizards, cicadas, and then all the frogs, spiders, ducks, all that crazy stuff. So that's the top water bass fishing box. And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, these are the hard baits. So in this one, I believe I've got shallow diving crankbaits, deep diving crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, I believe, am I right? Yeah, lipless crankbaits, and then jerk baits and prop baits at the bottom. So that is my tackle box of all hard baits. I'm not sponsored by VMC or anything. Oh, it's upside down. No, it looks upside down. It looks so upside down on the camera. I am not sponsored by VMC by any means. I just thought the sticker looked cool because all my hooks are VMC. And basically inside this box, I've just got everything I need for any situation. So I've got the wacky rig hooks, the Swimbait hooks, Texas rig hooks, Ned rig hooks, underspins, belly weighted Swimbait hooks, Nico weights. Everything that you would need for bass fishing is in this box right here. Last, but definitely not least, this is my favorite box by far. This heaping mound of soft plastic right here, this is the Swimbait box. This is where I have like all the craziest, when I say crazy, I mean beyond wild. So I'm just gonna start out with some of these. I find these really interesting. If you don't, just skip past it. It's not a big deal. So we've got some big hard plastic topwater swim baits right here. And these are all of my soft plastic swim baits that I bought. Most of these, almost all of these are Huddlestons. I know they're pretty pricey. I've caught a lot of good fish on these, believe it or not. This is my favorite. This is the, well, I'll just grab this one. I dropped that one. This is the Huddleston Bluegill. This thing is ridiculous. Look at the color and pattern on this. It is so well printed that it looks identical to a bluegill in the water. Like I've tricked friends before where I cast it out and then I reel it and I'm like, dude, look at that bluegill right there. And they're like, ooh. Well, yeah, these things look freaking amazing. Look at how it is so well printed. It is ridiculous. And the hook, as you guys can see, the hook is actually in the top. So the hook set's kind of weird. You really got to whack them. But all in all, very, very cool swim bait. And then onto the trout style ones. I've got some 68 specials. You guys can look these up if you're curious. These are the 68 specials by Huddleston. And my biggest swim bait is actually the Huddleston 8-inch rainbow trout. I've never had a bite on this. I've used it. I'm not gonna lie. It was $35. I've never used it. Sorry, never caught a fish on it, but that could change if you guys want me to try to swing this around for a little video. And I'd be curious to see. I actually put the gills inside of this. I don't know if you can see the red. Come on, camera, focus. Focus. It's tracking me. There you go. So you guys can see the gills that are there. That's actually pipe cleaner. I installed that myself. I think it looks pretty good though. I actually saw a video on YouTube. Somebody did that. So I figured I would do the same. And it looks crazy realistic in the water. It looks like a little bass swimming. So if anything were to eat this, it would probably think it's a little bass. And you probably thought I didn't have any more swim baits, but of course I do. This is a little Jackal bluegill, I believe. Yeah, this is the Jackal Gantarelle Junior. This is like a ghost bluegill color. I've actually caught really, really small fish on this. I've caught bass that could barely even eat this, but they've managed to do it. So this lure kind of snakes through the water. It swims really, really well. But its big brother is a little bit bigger, just a little bit. It's the Jackal Gantarelle. Yeah, it's just the Jackal Gantarelle. It's not the junior. It's just the big one. It's carp pattern, but I think it looks like golden shiner. So if you guys want to see me use this in any videos, I can try to catch a bass on it. It is massive. I think it's 3 ounces. So the odds of me catching a bass is very slim, but if it was, it would probably be a good sized bass. So let me know if you guys want to see me use this in a video. And we saved the most expensive for last. This is the bull shad made by Mike Bucca. This is $68 swim bait. I haven't even used it in any videos, mainly due to the fact that I am afraid to use this thing. It is $68, but the pattern on this, it is crazy. I hope that it can focus a little. Yeah, so you guys can see right there, the pattern is ridiculous. It looks so real when it's swimming. It has a nice little S motion, and it's caught fish. I've used it before. I just don't use it often because it's not like, hey, I'm gonna go use a $100 lure today and lose it. Like, that's not how I don't think like that. So, I mean, sometimes I'm in the mood where I'm just feeling like they're eating shad, like in a big lake or something, but most of the time I'm not looking to lose a $70 swim bait, so I keep it tucked away inside my tackle box. But like I said, if you guys want to see me use it, I will use it. I just gotta be really careful. Hopefully I wouldn't lose it in that video. All right, guys, I think that was all of my tackle. That was all of my rods, reels, saltwater lures, freshwater lures. I pretty much went over everything. But if you guys did make it to the end of this video, I appreciate you guys big time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, or at least got an idea for, you know, maybe a rod or reel, a couple lures you want, or an idea from me if you guys want to see me use any of the stuff that was in this video. Make sure to go drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys later.